Hi, Kat Chancellor with Stamp Art Connection and StampArtConnection.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I wanted to kind of show you some wonderful projects that I made using the Good Morning Magnolia, the Magnolia Lane Suite. This is going to be featured in the new catalog. If you've already done some blog hopping, you can tell that this project was on my blog. It's just another kind of pretty wreath, and I'm gonna demonstrate how we can put these flowers together. There's also some wonderful cards that I put together using the products such as the Designer Series paper and some of the Magnolia Lane Memories and More cards. And this Magnolia Lane large specialty Memories and More cards and envelopes. This set of cards, and here are the cards, and here are the envelope liners, and then here are all the envelopes. This pack fits the sizes that come from this Memories and More set that offers you lots of paper options. And what's special that I really think is cool is that it also gives you this really nice vellum, those pretty vellum printed pieces. And here's another piece right here that you can use on your cards. It also comes with some nice pieces that you can go ahead and punch out and put on your cards. They've got adhesive on the back, so that's another really fast way to put together cards, and I'll show you where I use some of them. Here are the little cards that come with it, and they have sentiments that you can use as well as pretty paper on the front and on the back. So the whole card pack are all of these plus these two in this Memories and More Magnolia Lane card pack. So the stamp set is the special cling set that Stampin' Up! Is now offering, which I happen to have right here because I was doing some stamping. So I'm just going to show you. I actually have my stamps already on my Stamparatus stamp set, and then these wonderful dies. And it also has a ribbon pack that comes with it, which gives you this really pretty, I think it's Mossy Meadow twine and this very pretty cotton ribbon. So this is all part of the suite. Now, taking the suite, what I did is I took these dies, and there's a lot of dies, so I actually have the dies on this card, and let me go and open this one, and on this card. So you get these wonderful dies where you can cut out the stamp that this large stamp right here, this large image, can be cut out using these dies. Here's a sample of the image that I stamped, and then I colored it using my blends. I used Old Olive, and I used the Petal Pink to kind of give it that nice effect. And I'm going to put a card together. Here it is. It's going to be so simple. I've got my envelope with my liner, and I took a piece of this vellum, and I'm going to take this Magnolia that I already stamped out and colored, and I'm going to put it together, and we're going to make this card. But what I want to demonstrate is, I'm going to put some of these other cards aside for now, is I want to show you how easy it is to make these magnolia flowers. Now, I've seen someone else make these flowers and actually put them on a grapevine wreath, which is really pretty. I made these soon after I got the set, and it kind of follows suit with my butterfly wreath. And if you've gone to my blog, I mentioned that it's the same steps. Here are some extra flowers because on my blog I say to go ahead and punch 5 white vellum flowers with using these different framelets right here. So these are the framelets that I use to cut the petal pieces. And then I use these leaf framelets here, and I use the dark old olive, and I use some of this it's the Mossy Meadow vellum that they're offering, and it'll be down in my comments, that I basically cut out. I'll show you the punch. I cut out these in Mossy Meadow just to kind of build a base, because the base of this is a window sheet. And then I kind of use the Mossy Meadow vellum pieces, and I use a flower punch to just kind of punch these out. So it kind of gave a bit of a surface before I started putting the flowers on and adding the leaves. So it kind of built up that background a little bit. But the flowers are so easy to put together. There's the centerpiece, and there's another piece that comes with it that's a little bit smaller. But wouldn't you know, the bane of all demonstrators and stampers is, as soon as I used it the first time, I lost it and I couldn't find it. So I'm just going to have to use that larger piece instead of the smaller piece. You can see I do have smaller and larger pieces. So here are some flowers that I created that I didn't use for my wreath, right there. And I'm going to show you the white cardstock that I used to cut. I cut 2 of each one of the framelets, and I cut the middle pieces here. And then I have my pieces are right here. So I'm going to put these aside, because what I just learned is that if you take the punch that comes with the balloon set that's also in the new catalog, and we use this to punch some petals, that these will actually work well to make our magnolia a little larger. So the first thing we want to do is, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to set my pieces and parts here, is I'm going to use a sponge dauber, and it's I'm using So Saffron and Early Espresso. I'm going to take my sponge dauber, and let me get a piece of paper. Oh, I know what I'll use. I'll just use this right here. Just going to take a piece of paper and put it on my work surface. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sponge daub with my yellow. Excuse me. Just grab, I'm using So Saffron. So I am just going to sponge around the edges of this star, because I'm going to come back in with a dark Early Espresso, and I'm going to basically I'm just sponge the middle of it. So now my middle is ready to go, and I'm going to put that together and kind of line that up like that. So I'm going to put these aside now, because now I'm going to take my white pieces using my So Saffron, and I'm just going to kind of sponge from the center, and I'm going to sponge out, because what I want to create is I just want to create kind of a little bit of color kind of moving out towards the white. So I'm not trying to create a strong color, just kind of a very soft yellow that's kind of radiating from the inside of our petals to the outside. Again, just taking my dauber and just kind of hitting it in the middle and pushing out, just like that. And I'm going to pull in every piece. And I have these pieces here, same thing. Just going to kind of just pulling it in like that. Same thing, pull it in. And I'm going to take these pieces and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to hold it here with my nail, and I'm just going to take my color and kind of just radiate it out in that fashion. Okay, so now that I have all my pieces and parts put together, I used a lot of glue dots to put this together, and I also took my tool, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of roll. I'm rolling my petals up, so they're going to be curved. So I'm just going to all right, I'm going to get a glue dot and I'm going to attach it on the back, and I'm simply going to align it so that it's covered like so. There we go, the nice flower. And go ahead and do the same with this one, only I'm probably going to put maybe 2 glue dots, and I'm going to kind of put it there. And we're going to go ahead and grab a couple of glue dots and put this right there. So there is the center of our flower. Now let's go ahead and add these other petals. And again, I'm just going to add a glue dot here, and I'm going to add a petal there. Grab a glue dot. Add a petal there. Now, it looks as though I could probably use a couple more of these petals. So I'm just going to grab a piece of Whisper White. I think I'm going to cut 2 more. I kind of want this a little farther up, as I'm noticing how large these petals are. So I'm going to kind of extend that a little bit. And we're going to go ahead and can't forget to curl them. And put that one right there. And forgot to curl this one, so I'm just gonna I think I need 1 more right there. And look at that, isn't that pretty? Which is a lot larger than this one, so you can really create a really nice, much larger wreath. And let me go over here and find my 2 little pieces here. So the first one, I'm going to kind of fold these up. And I'm going to, a large dimensional will fit nicely on this. But this is the one we're going to put in the middle because it's got that darker. I'm kind of bending that up. And then I'm going to use a glue dot, and then I'm going to try to align these so that they're kind of so I may have some of them up and some of them down. I'm just kind of playing with them. I see a little bit of my dimensional showing here, so I'm just going to trim that. So I really want the now I'm going to put that right there. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? So here are the small flower that you can make with your, and here's an extra one, which is why I have this little box, because I throw my little flowers in there. But isn't that beautiful? Look at that. That is just gorgeous. And you can go ahead and cut out some leaves, and this will make just a beautiful, beautiful wreath or something on a box. Now what I think I'm going to do here, because this is kind of loose, is I think I'm going to take, I'm just going to take this, which is kind of like this base right here, and I'm going to grab some of my regular white glue here. Oops, no, that couldn't be more messy. And I'm just going to put that right there, and that way that can dry nicely and kind of hold on to, kind of give a firm platform for this flower. Okay, so there you go. That is how you assemble these flowers. And if you follow my video for the butterfly, it's the same. It's the absolute same directions. It's just using different pieces and parts. Again, let me show you what I used for these pieces. I took this stamp, or this punch right here, and this is the punch I used to punch all these pieces so that they look kind of like leaves when you kind of stick them out along the edges. And that's kind of the effect I was trying to go for, is I wanted to create a base of leaves. And then I took a very old punch. I don't know if you can recognize it, but this is a flower punch. It's retired, but you could use any old flower punch. And I punched these with the white vellum. And after I put my layer of green vellum pieces down, then I kind of covered the surface, just lined up the white vellum ones, and then after that I put my flowers down, and then I added my other pieces that I cut out with the framelits. So it was really wasn't very easy. So I hope you enjoyed that demonstration, and that you take advantage of this wonderful set. So I'm going to put my flowers aside, because the next thing I want to do is I want to show you that how easy it is to put together a card using these wonderful envelopes and card sets. Now, here's the flower that I stamped using my Stamparatus, and I simply just colored this again using my petal pink and the mossy metal, or it's old olive, not really sure right now. I stamped this one on simply a piece of, I took one of the cards and I just used the back of it, and I stamped it in black, and then I used a watercolor paper in Whisper White, and I just colored that in. And then I did the same thing using I think they had the same green in here. Here's the green, and I just colored in the flowers with the white, and this is old olive, and the same with this flower here. And I cut them out after I stamped them. I cut them out using the framelits that come with the kit. And this is simply, I embossed this with the white. Now this back piece here is simply a piece of this paper that I just cut down to use as a background piece. And you can also see that I cut some of the leaves out of vellum and out of my my old olive green right there. So if I wanted to make this even more fun, I can take a look at these cards, and since it says thanks, I could even put something in here like this inside my card. Look how easy it is to put that card together. You know, thanks, you are loved, and there's lots of neat sentiments that you can use for. There's even these cards. You can put this inside here. It fits perfectly, and you can even stamp a sentiment in there. So that's another way that you can take advantage of these kits to put your cards together. So let's go ahead and put this card together. And I'm just taking the envelope and the card front. This is a piece of the vellum, and I'm just going to lay that in front. I've taken my my magnolia that I have colored and cut out using my dies, and I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to use one of these tags here to stamp my sentiment. And I think what I'm going to stamp is, let me find my stamp sets. thinking of you. So I can go ahead and do that. But let's put this together first. So this is very easy to put together because all we're going to do is we're just going to take some snail, and I'm just going to run it along the edge here where there is some pattern. And I have to be careful because I have glue right there on my corner. I'm just going to run it along there, and then I'm just going to place this right in the middle of my card like that. And I am going to pull this off because it has glue on it and start with a new sheet. Then I'm going to take this piece here and I'm going to put it right there, but I'm going to pop that up on dimensionals, and I'm going to stamp my sentiment, and I'm going to use my early espresso. So let me get my stamp here. And let's see, I didn't put my label on, so I just have to make sure that I have this, I'm looking at it correctly here. Okay, thinking of you, and it's straight. And I can test it right here. Perfect. Okay. Just do perfect, thinking of you. Let me put away this. And I'm going to pull this off. It already has some adhesive behind it. So we want this here. And we're going to put this, I'll put this right about there. And now I'm going to pop this up on dimensionals. And since I'm at the edge of my dimensional sheet here, I'm just going to pull some of these off and just kind of help myself out here by doing some of these nice long pieces right there, because I don't like to let anything go to waste. And then I'm just going to pull these off and put this down. And there we go. There's my card. And I have a little bow right here that I can put either on my flower, or I can just leave it like that. I think I'm just gonna leave it like that. But that is so easy. So if I wanted to add something kind of special, I have this in mind for someone, and I would add this right here. Thinking of you, you are my everything and more. And there it is, I already have it in there. That's perfect. And I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to put that in right there. And beautiful. I have a very, very pretty card. And here is my envelope. So again, here's another card I put together using the same stamp set, only I colored this with the watercolor pencils. This one I used our Stamping Blends. And here is our envelope for this one. Let me get my crease, get that creased right there, my bone folder. Okay, so there's that card. Now, the next card that I put together using this set, and I'm just gonna kind of put this aside, are these cards here. And these cards were very easy to put together. In fact, I didn't do any stamping. All I did was some embossing with white embossing powder using early espresso paper and some ribbon. And then these flowers, and I can show you the DSP right here. These flowers were cut out of this sheet of DSP. And there you go. I put them together. It was very, very, very easy. I'll give you the layers for all these pieces on my blog, and I hope that you will, that you've gotten some ideas out of this video, especially how to put together this beautiful magnolia flower for your wreaths and your home decorations. Please like my video, go to my blog, register for my newsletter, and I'll be back with some more ideas and some more cards later in the week. This is Kat Chancellor for Stamp Art Connection and StampArtConnection.com. Happy stamping.